Hey everybody, Rhadamant here. Thanks for tuning in to Frost and Fire. So last episode, we had a mech cluster with a sunblocker land here. Now normally, a mech cluster would not be much of a problem to leave out there because it might be a way to kill off some Reapers that would attack. Oddly enough, we haven't had a Reaper attack in quite some time. I almost miss them. I really don't, but I almost do. So I crunched some math, and I want to deliver about 10 extra shells, hopefully landing them right around here to take out the sunblocker and maybe do a whole lot of damage to the mechs that are there. So what I'm going to do is create, let's take the temp shells, create, let's say 10 more shells, 10 more high explosive shells. And we will be delivering them for the killing blow. Or at least the crippling blow. The sunblocker, obviously, given that we have 7 solar generators, is going to wreak havoc on our power grid until it's destroyed. So that's the reason why I'm prioritizing destroying it rather than leaving this mech cluster to destroy Reapers in the future. And the thing is that all of these robots, all these mechs here, are defending the sunblocker. So as soon as the sunblocker gets destroyed, all the mechs come to my base, so I might as well try to blow up a lot of the mechs in the process. Speaking of which, we have this uranium slug turret just moments away from being constructed, so that will be handy and helpful. And Gabe is mining up the remaining uranium needed for this slug turret. Now I'm obviously going to want more uranium than just the bare minimum. In fact, I would go so far as to say, let's see here. What stones? I have, I guess marble, oddly enough. I have a lot of marble. I am going to put some shelves here with steel and uranium so that these can be quickly rearmed at a moment's notice. That's pretty handy to have. You know, think of these shelves as like munition shelves. I guess in a way they are. Okay, I have to closely keep an eye on my battery levels because I'm going to have to tap into my reserve power pretty soon. I might be able to power down things that I'm not using, which is really not that much. I don't have a lot of unnecessary electric draw right now. So, yeah, let's flip on so we don't brown out. Done. And adding to our defenses. Okay, Bash is now working on these shelves. This shelf will have just slightly lower priorities than this one, so copy and this, I guess, will be preferred. And then this one will be preferred as well for uranium. So we're going to store uranium and steel out here. I chose marble, or just really any stone block, but I chose stone so that it couldn't burn, even though it is surrounded by, you know, potentially flammable walls. I at some point would like to remove the flammable walls and have it be all non-flammables, but that's just, I don't have that amount of stone at the moment. Speaking of which, I'm going to start removing the home zones from areas that I just don't want to clean or care about. So that's going to look something like this. And let's remove a roof here because it's getting pretty hot. There's also all the stone home zone here. Another thing that I could do to have Gabe or whomever more quickly get to this mining drill is leave this door open because it's not all that critical that it closes, and put lights in between. And as you can see, just the fact that it's under overhead mountain means it's just sort of naturally cooler than ambient. Ambient is 90°C and this is 66°C. So there's a sizable temperature difference just because we've got that overhead mountain. Oh, that is not what I wanted to do. So here is going to be another uranium. Where'd you get this Ikwa? I don't even know. All right, so harpsichord is research. Let's get piano. I'd like to get ahead of the curve and make sure that I have all the research that Raptor will need to maintain his royal happiness. All right. And then this is also preferred, so I'm going to put this to normal and put this to low. And that way things get hauled where they should. So here's the uranium. This stack of uranium obviously is going to be used to make the uranium slug turret. But then eventually we'll have... oh, okay. This should be not important, but preferred. But then eventually we'll have uranium to reload and steel to reload, which that looked very odd. You hauled it to one shelf and then immediately moved it to another. So we have all the shells that I would like to deliver for the killing blow of that mech cluster. So let's go ahead and launch all of the shells. Now, of course, I have an anti-grain warhead, which is basically like a tactical nuke, but I don't want to use it in this instance. That is very much for an emergency. And one of the issues with the tactical nuke, let's say I launched it, there's a possibility that the tactical nuke hits a mountain and doesn't really kill anything or explode anything, which would be terrible. Or if I transport podded it, there's the possibility that it would land incorrectly and not in position to actually blast this mech cluster apart. Plus, this mech cluster, despite the fact that it has a sunblocker, isn't all that urgent. It's not going to kill me. I can take my time, and therefore a tactical nuke would be a poor choice. We do have a bionic leg, however. Oh boy. Raptor? Or Gabe? Probably Gabe, given that he's a shooter. So we're going to go... both toes reduce efficiency by the same amount. So I'm going to do right leg first. But I'm going to suspend this until he's naturally asleep. All right, so the transport launch is ready. And we'll land it right here. Hopefully somewhere near there. Perfect. Oh, it added to another stack. Okay, that will be very, very deadly. That works for me. And then next, I am going to suspend the high explosive shells and try to trigger it with incendiaries. Incendiaries have a larger area of effect and is more likely to ignite the area on fire if I don't have to get as close. Unfortunately, on most map tiles, you'll have a lot of flammable material because there'll be organics, right? In normal forests or swamps or wherever you are. Deserts, I guess, would be a little bit like this, but normally you have grasses that might be able to carry the fire over to the shells. But here I have to get relatively a direct shot, which is a little bit harder to accomplish. But I'm up for the challenge. Oh, Lord. That is a bad blight. My goodness. That is just about all of my rice. Gabe. Plant cut 1. Alright, I'm going to crank out a few incendiary shells. Let's make 5 of them. Gabe, what are you doing? You're eating? Okay, now you're working. Good. So as plant cut priority is higher than growing priority, they cut first, then sow, which is what you want to do in the case of a blight like this, because it's more important to cut out the blight than to sow new seeds. I don't want to waste sowing time. And now that the blight is gone, I can sow. So I only really had the blight spread once, which is a tiny, tiny amount, given the unbelievable amount of blight that I had. But he's quick at cutting. That's all I can say. Right. Looks like I'm going to need some additional chem fuel. No, actually, I don't. I see that I have a whole bunch of chem fuel in my stockpile, so I'm not going to worry about that. And there's still 25 chem fuel left up here to haul. Hippie, I'm going to have you go for that. Oh, Cauterize was already doing that. Sorry, Cauterize. I hope you find something else to do. So this mech cluster, unbeknownst to them, they're sitting on a ticking time bomb, and really soon I'm going to set that off. It's going to be fun. Hippie needs a meditation spot. So Hippie here, if we analyze, artistic and morbid. So the reason that she has morbid is because she's a masochist. So morbid meditation is going to be, I'm not going to say easy to do, but I will set up some morbid meditation for her. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to miscellaneous, go to sarcophagus, and I'm going to build 2 steel sarcophaguses in here. Because we are already temperature controlling this room, I can turn this into a bit of a crypt for her benefit. Alright, so all the incendiary shells have been made. JD is making advanced components for another bionic leg. Gabe will be resting. Actually, he's resting right now. So instead of rest, go for your surgery. And then Raptor, operate. So when you wake up, Gabe, you will have a brand new leg. Hopefully. I mean, providing that Raptor doesn't screw this up. Which he did not. Perfect. So one leg will easily be able to offset a missing toe on the other. And then Raptor will get both toes will be replaced by this bionic leg that JD is in the process of making. Bash, where'd you go? Drinking a beer? No. Just finish the slug turret. I am quite excited that you are making one, so don't make me wait any longer. So now my preliminary defenses are done. I might need to add more turrets as time goes on, really depending on the severity of the attacks that I suffer, the amount of attackers, etc., etc., etc. But for now, this is far more defense than I've ever had before. So I'm eager about that. I'm excited about that. So next step is to use the incendiary shells. So let's clear incendiary shells. Use the incendiary shells to try to hit whomever we can. Now, he's still woozy, so it's not going to be a fair assessment of his moving speed. Right? Because obviously he's still on anesthesia. But once the anesthesia clears, we should see that Gabe is a lot faster at moving around and getting from point A to point B. And Raptor is next, as I said. Oh, some fertilized eggs. Let's keep them away from everybody that would want to eat them. All right, so JD is making the leg. Bash, you are just playing some instruments, so I'm going to have you... You have been sort of the... How should we put this? You've been the flag bearer of this community, so it only stands to reason that we allow you to set things on fire. It's possible that this hit here, yeah, it spreaded the shells. So this group of shells will trigger, but I don't, yeah, it didn't really do much else. Here's the second shell. It's a wide miss. Don't worry, Bash. Happens to the best of us. Okay, going for a third shot. A really wide miss. You know what? I can do the operations in there. That'd be even better. All right, number 4. I'm starting to lose faith in you. Gabe, you want to try number 5? You're still, what, woozy from the anesthesia? Maybe being all drugged up will help you hit. Alright, so that's my last shot for now. And it's another miss. Guess we'll queue up 5 more, and that probably means I need some more chem... Well, yeah, I'm going to need some more chem fuel. Let's do one more run of chem fuel. I think that gives us enough for another volley of 5. Oh, no, it won't. Ooh, Hippie and Bash. Ouch. They rejected proposal. They're still together, though, in a relationship, but not quite as close as they used to be, I suppose. All right, Raptor's not quite sleepy enough to bother for the surgery. And then, of course, there's the issue that JD will have to be the clinician, the surgeon in this instance. I think he's up for the task. So now Bash is making the sarcophaguses, sarcophagi, so that Hippie might pray with a meditation spot to the sarcophagus. So this will be assigned to Hippie. And whomever is buried in here, just some allied visitors, she'll pray to. It's not as good as praying to a dead relative or something like that, but it will have to do. And one of them is Masterwork, so that's kind of nice. Raptor, I'm going to have you deconstruct these graves because you don't mind seeing dead people. Your bloodlust. And here's the other mech cluster. Oh, of course. It has a high mech shield. Actually, this one's relatively toothless. It's just perfectly covered. Oh, my goodness. It's perfectly covering by the other one. So this is going to be a little tricky. A little tricky indeed. All right, JD. Phoenix, you want... Yeah, your name's Phoenix. How about you try to set things on fire? So what I'm going to do is aim a little lower because of that mech shield. I'm going to aim here because this mech shield covers almost the explosion point. So it's going to be a little bit trickier to try to get a direct hit, but I hope they're up for the task. This zone, however, lands perfectly inside of the previous avoid zone, so I don't really need to avoid it at the moment. Bash, I'm sure there's something better for you to do. Phoenix is going for the launch. Raptor just got inspired surgery, which would have been nice like a minute ago, but it is not nice now. So the storage here will be for human-like strangers, and that way we should be able to bury these guys. I'm gonna queue up the bury now. Almost, Phoenix, almost. It was closer than most. And then Hippie will be able to have something to pray to. So the efficiency of this prayer spot is driven by her masochism and the fact that there's dead bodies buried there. Wow, that was a big old miss. Phoenix, is there another shot for you? I may have to go and trigger these shells a second method, which is to say using the salvo string, because I am running out of patience with how inaccurate this process... Oh, right into the shield, yes. With how inaccurate this process is. All right, last shot. We salvo after this. Because I very much want to rip apart this auto mortar. What's sleeping here? Oh, the mech drop beacon, I see. And a manhunter pack of crabs. Who's close by? JD. Let's close the doors. Raptor, we are going to set you up with a right foot bionic leg. And we will be treating you with actual meds. And unfortunately, your surgeon... Let me suspend that for a second. Your surgeon is actually running to close the doors to this... Oh! Please spread. No, it's not going to spread. It was the closest shot yet, but still a failed one. Alright, so these crabs don't know how to get to me. Maddened with Scoria. I was sort of hoping to lure them north to the cluster. There's actually the possibility of doing that, but in the daylight. I don't want to do that at night, because at night, humans run slower because of the darkness levels, but animals do not. They are full speed at nighttime, as evidenced here. If we take a look, move speed, unaffected, 4.2, 4.2, whereas in the dark, move speed 4.6 to 4.0 because of the light level. So it's very, very important not to pick fights with animals at night. You'll lose. Okay, Raptor now has his leg. We are slowly fixing up all of the little issues that we have. I think the last one is maybe getting Gabe a left leg, pushing his movement speed from 108 to 125. It looks like the sunblocker hasn't totally ruined my power grid. We are able to eke out a little bit of power here and there, which is great. I bet turning off the smelter would help even more, now that we have smelted all the slag. Where are the crabs? Ah. So, Gabe, you're a rather fast dude. How about you try to lure the crabs north? I know it's a sketchy prospect of having a whole bunch of crabs chase you, but these crabs might be able to help me with my Met Cluster problem. Alright, so I'm getting shot at. Luckily, it missed. And now I'm trying to ditch the crabs. Oh, and it worked, sort of. Oh, Gabe, why are you standing there? One came in faster than I was able to defend. So, let's get some backup for Gabe. Turning on this turret. Because he is not faring well. This crab is winning, soundly winning against him. Crabs are tough. They are very, very tough. And because I didn't take my own advice, this crab managed to catch me. Ooh, good old brain injury. I think Angelina knows something about that. Alright, Raptor. Time to rescue. JD, let's kill the crab. Bash, you haul the sniper rifle. Hippie, you haul the meal. And this one is immediately rotten. Yeah, these crabs didn't fare well against these mechs. And there's two more sort of hanging out near the... Yeah, we'll have to deal with that. Alright, you tend... Everybody is going to get no meds. JD, I'm going to try to have you lure the crabs back towards the cluster. Utilizing the cluster to... Oh, Hippie, you're having to flee? Ah, there's a little crab in here. I had no idea. Bash, will you make me some food? And let's spin up this turret and spin this one down. How did you get in? I just obviously was not paying enough attention. But first swing, set the crab on fire. It goes into full panic mode and stops fighting. Organic enemies like crabs are very, very, very fun to fight because, of course, when you set them on fire, they do the same wiggly jogs that that all organics do, and they're really not all that effective at defending. All right, so Cauterize. I'm going to have you go to Crab Zone, and then everybody else, I'm going to just forbid the doors just to make it... I don't want to necessarily restrict them entirely, but I want to make it a little bit more difficult for them to get into danger. All right, JD, go to cover. And these crabs have done their duty. So next up, it's going to be up to Raptor, which I don't have any rice because Gabe is out of commission. I guess... No, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to have everybody eat fine meals for now, rather than have a terrible yield of rice. Alright, so Hippie's patched up. She's very much, as you can see, liking the pain boost. And I am going to try... I'm going to see about the line of sight to trigger Aerodrone Strike. I'm not sure that I'll be able to call it in easily on these mechs. What are their ranges? Oh yeah, I know, I can call in a strike. Get a little bit closer. I want to get in as close as I'm able. Maybe about here. Well, let's get out of here. I didn't want to have to do this, but clearly it was my best option. So not completely destroyed. But the big scary turret is gone. So now with the rest of them, I can just snipe them down. I'm totally done, you know, toying with them. I wanted a big kablamo. I wanted something grand and explosive. I just didn't get it. It just wasn't in the cards. I tried. I really did. Alright, so Gabe is up. But I'm going to set him... Yeah, he's already set to high priority bed rest. And... unfortunately, a lot of my snipers currently are out of commission. We've got random cargo pods of kibble. Hey, look at that. And pretty close to the base. Alright, Bash, you're going to haul this crab away. I know you're in the process. Ooh, Maverick is able to start hauling as well. That's going to be really, really useful. So Bash is just depositing the corpses so that there isn't corpse bile near the base, because corpse bile is ugly. Raptor is cleaning up the blood, so we don't have to see that constantly. And I'll add a little bit of additional cleaning. Gabe, unfortunately for him, has gotten infection. Raptor, would you tend with herbal meds? And, oh my goodness. JD, I'm going to have to wake you up. I need my geothermal. It cannot be broken down. Okay, Hippie, I guess, is getting the blood. Alright, so Hippie, JD, and Raptor are going to go for a bit of a shootout with those mechs. Well, I schedule everybody else to stay close, so I don't have to babysit them. Now, Hippie, Raptor, they both won't... They don't have good insulation, is I guess the way to put it. So I'm going to have to be careful about how long they stay out. Oop, a Lancer is down. Now, the only other annoyance is the pikeman. That's going to be sort of a dangerous foe. Actually, you know what? I might be able to get... if I can kill the pikeman, I'll be able to snipe the rest real productively. So I just use the smoke pop belt. It ruins my chance to hit them, but there's 3 of me shooting and 1 of them shooting, so I'd rather have the cover of smoke. Actually, you know what I could do? Is I have so much steel here. Let me throw together a few steel barricades. With JD. Impromptu cover. Please don't get hit. Please don't get hit. Please don't get hit. And of course, right arm, needle gun. Alright, stand your ground. I think you'll be alright. We just need to kill the pikeman. And it's nearly dead. Once the pikeman's down, we can kill the sunblocker with relative ease. Alright. Let's back up a little bit. Ooh, more cargo pods. So the purpose of backing up is just to make sure that Raptor does not bleed more than he needs to. Hippie, you can stay there, actually. And Bash, you go there as well. Alright, these cargo pods were smoke leaf. Okie dokie. So now I'm just going to target the sunblocker. The rest of these mechs I can shoot out. The sunblocker is kind of annoying, so I kind of want to get rid of it now more than later. I am periodically triggering aggression. Oh, JD, you were supposed to not leave. Raptor and Hippie, I'm guessing... No, actually, Hippie is not that heat-stroked. But Raptor has to leave because he's getting hot. The Lancer is near dead. We're going to aim for the Lancer. There's also a possibility of Bash coming in from the east and wiping it out. Bash is just here for support, really. But I think what I'm going to do with Bash is, rather than have him stand around, he's going to collect some steel. These centipedes are also pretty damaged. Well, one is damaged, the other isn't. And then this cluster here, depending on what's in the mech capsule and the mech drop beacon, should not be that bad. Because what I could do is I could shoot in on it and then try to trigger the unstable power cells to blow up the rest of it. Because there's a lot of unstable power cells here that will chain trigger and be glorious and explosive. The explosion that I was trying to have happen here, but it just never did. Okay, Gabe, stay in bed. His infection is not dangerous. Although one thing I gotta say is actually I'm gonna temporarily have him do some farming because yeah, you guys can go home. It's kind of late in the day. I'm gonna temporarily have him do some farming because we really need the corn, or the rice rather. So I know he's gonna get terrible yields and a little bit more sick, but we just need it. There's no no one else can really sufficiently mine or farm. Okay, here I am toggling off as much as I am able. We are about to brown out. I'm actually going to get rid of the grow light because nothing's sown anyway. Like, nothing can grow regardless. Yeah, he's in intense pain. But he just got tended to. And a bulk goods. Wow, that is lucky. Okay, so we have a bulk goods trader flying overhead. Raptor, I think you are still probably the best trader, even if you're a little wounded. We're going to definitely sell the baby crab. And patch leather can be sold as well. It's really not that good of a material. Selling off some of the worn out clothing. The normal quality shirts I can get rid of as well. These older dusters I'm getting rid of, and the cloth parka. Yeah, I'm going to keep the cloth parka. The t-shirt I'm going to get rid of, though. This parka is going to shred soon, so I'm going to get rid of that as well. The normal toques I'll get rid of because I can do good toques. I'll get rid of the cornet for now. All of these spare furnitures because it's good money. And then taking a look at what I want to buy. That's the next big question. So they're selling marble blocks, but marble blocks are pretty terrible in terms of defensive value. They're pretty trash. I think I'm just going to go for the silver. Yep. No regrets. I have a lot of marble, so no regrets there. So Bash and Phoenix are currently idle. I think I'm going to wait till tomorrow to get sniping again. Just keeping an eye on Gabe's sickness. I think he's fine. I don't think he's really... He's so far out of the woods. It's not much of an issue. We'll have plenty of ammunition to reload. Trying to think of what they could do if they're idle. I want them to stay close, but I will add some slag to the stay close zone down here to give them the option of hauling some slag. So that they're not entirely idle. Gabe, what are you doing? Oh, you're recreating. Cool, but either rest or work. I really need the rice. I had a blight, and then you went down. Okay, Raptor's fully healed. That is good news. What is he doing, though? Oh, hauling materials around. When everybody else is up, I'm going to go for trying to clear out the weather controller and the 2 mechs. And then that opens up the opportunity to sort of ambush the mech cluster that's there. The other mech cluster. And that second mech cluster is going to give me honor for Raptor. Alright, so developed immunity. No problem at all. Hippie's Cypher Focus gain rate is 72%. Ooh, we have a scratch scar on her arm from that crab. So she's in even more pain. Goodness. Goodness me. So let's make a bionic arm for her other arm, so that her manipulation is back up to normal. Now, the only other problem is that the pain that she's in causes a consciousness loss. So, you know, she's in 33% pain, which causes a 10% consciousness loss, which could be, in some isolated situations, dangerous. I would actually go so far as to say I'm going to replace her left shoulder so that her consciousness raises, because there's the edge case that that consciousness loss due to pain can cause death. Not likely, but a possibility that I very much wish to avoid. All right, so here comes my, in the noonday sun, not that it's sunny due to the sun being blocked, but in the noonday sun, here we go, trying to clear out the rest of this sun blocker. Or centipedes, I don't care what they destroy at this point. Alright, so Phoenix, I guess, is making the bionic arm. That's fine. He has plenty of crafting skill to do so. You guys ran out of a target. Oh, those are some good hits. So this activates in 1 week or proximity. Noted. Alright, Bash, if you have nothing else to do, flick on the smelter and smelt. Trying to stay productive. So these centipedes are almost down, and then it will be really easy to clear the sun blocker. We'll just punch it to death. But Raptor, you're getting a little hot, so let's have you return. I could give him some insulating clothing and go that route. But yeah, I'd rather have him just wear what he has on and not have to fuss around with that, because it's not fun to constant fuss. Alright, the centipedes that are up are brink of death. As you can see, their health hit pool, or at least this one's brink of death. Its hit pool is, our health pool is basically gone. Alright, Raptor, you stay inside so that I can send you back out to fight. We now have a fair bit of munitions to reload. All right, let's try to kill off the really injured one. Damaged one. When heat stroke drops to 0, we'll go back out. Oh man, we're so close. Animals. Maverick, I'm going to start training you for other tasks. You were done with hauling. I guess I could try to unrestrict haul them, because they stay far enough away from the mechs that it should be okay. Oh my goodness, your head. Your fifth body ring is totally shut off. These are some pretty dead mechs. Unfortunately, Hippie has to return back to cool temperatures. And JD's shots are getting deflected. I've also turned off the research bench. So Raptor hasn't really had anything to do, but I'm going to flick it back on now. Okay, Raptor, you're no longer idle. And compacted steel just landed. Alright, I'm very eager to get rid of these mechs before the end of this episode. At least one cluster to say that I got something done. Oh boy. Well, that is annoying, but convenient. It landed, damaged my walls. Thankfully didn't actually break anything, but I'm going to have a lot of repairs to effect. Alright, so the crew that's out here, they're going to be a little fussy because they're going to be sleepy. Because I'm having them work overtime. But that's what the job calls for. Now, these centipedes really haven't been returning fire, so I don't really need the cover that I built. In fact, I go so far as to say I'll destroy the cover. And we are just a few well-placed sniper rifle shots away from having this cluster cleared. Where then I can destroy the sunblocker and return to daylight as scheduled normally. Now, one could argue, given that these mechs seem to be just defending the sun blocker, a good tactic would be to use the charge lances, because the charge lances have far higher armor penetration than the sniper rifles. If you take a look here, damage is 30, armor pen is 45, versus, let's take, damage is 25, armor pen is 38. So the higher damage helps to punch through the armor. Actually, the armor pen is about the same. You know, just slightly higher with the charge lances. But the higher damage helps the shots that do land to punch harder, and you know, ultimately does more damage. High armor pen helps for damage. Unfortunately, the one crab that was edible out here desiccated. That's a bummer. And that was the sound I was waiting for. I'm going to temporarily unrestrict all of them so that they can haul stuff back. What, 5 steel? I think you can do better than that. Actually, haul the plasteel. I don't know why I didn't grab all the plasteel. In fact, taking a look. You know what? Don't complain. You do it too. Looking at all the stuff that was just not being loaded bothered me. At some point, all this plasteel will be too heavy for the caravan. Haul a full stack. Ah, there we go. All right. Happy ending. Stay close. And that means that next episode, I get to focus on this mech cluster, which is honestly designed to self-explode. So I think that's going to be far, far less of a challenge than the one I just destroyed. If you have feedback for me, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to incorporate your feedback if I find it useful. If you'd like to chat about Frost and Fire, just hop on Discord. Rhadamant.com has the link for you. Thank you all so very much for watching. I'll catch you next episode. Farewell, everybody.